Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is still struggling around this major resistance, but we're still seeing significant liquidity build above the current price of Bitcoin, as we've just had some major crypto news today coming from the Federal Reserve Chair himself, Jerome Powell, while the price of Solana is potentially starting to break out above this key area on the price chart, and the price of Chainlink is still currently playing out this shorter term bullish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before we take a look at the Bitcoin and crypto charts today, we need to take a look at some crypto news today, because just a matter of hours ago, over the last one day, we saw Jerome Powell, the boss of the Federal Reserve, the Fed chair, say some bullish things about crypto. So first of all, as we can see here, he said that crypto is becoming more mainstream and legal framework for stable coins is a good idea. And so Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, especially more recently, has been opening up quite a lot to crypto and specifically stable coins, because in case you didn't already know, companies like Tether, for example, that issue USDT, the largest stable coin out there, is actually one of the largest holders of US treasuries in the world. Other than foreign countries and central banks, Tether actually holds some of the most amount of US treasuries out of any entity worldwide. And so basically stablecoin issuers like Tether and Circle, for example, are basically middlemen between basically distributing digital US dollars worldwide and then putting that money into US treasuries, which can help basically fund the government and helps out the Federal Reserve with what they do. And Jerome Powell also said that he thinks that there will be a loosening of bank rules on crypto. So basically he thinks that potentially banks are going to slowly start adopting crypto more and more. And at least in my opinion, this makes sense, because banks look to make as much money as possible. So if banks can offer custody solutions and crypto transactions and things like that and take a small cut of fees, of course they will look to do that if the rules allow them to. And so this is just another stepping stone on the journey towards mass adoption, with crypto becoming more and more mainstream, which is of course bullish for crypto's long-term future. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin price charts today on the 4-day time frame, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, so nothing's changed over the last one day. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, obviously at least for now, the MACD on the weekly time frame is still looking more bearish than it is bullish, but just recently we've started to decline in the amount of bearish momentum that we're seeing. So as I've said in recent weeks here on the channel, we've potentially already seen the worst. The worst is behind us. And in fact, I've been comparing this current price of Bitcoin right now in this cycle compared to what we saw around July 2024. We're potentially at a similar stage in the price of Bitcoin to what we saw back then. So just to keep that in mind, at least based on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, obviously right now we still have a massive bearish divergence to watch out for on the weekly time frame, telling us to not expect any significant bullish momentum anytime soon. But of course we can see short-term bullish price action, just not necessarily massive momentum towards the upside on the larger time frames, at least anytime soon. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, obviously we still have a major resistance in between around 86,000 to 88,000 that we cannot ignore. So I've been saying in recent weeks here on the channel many times since before these rejections right here, once again, expect a lot of resistance around this area. Expect the price to struggle from within 86 to 88,000. And so far that's been perfectly playing out. And as for other support and resistance levels, at least on this chart right here, if we first of all see a confirmed breakout with at least a candle close confirming above 88,000 and holding above that level as new support, in that situation, the next major resistance I'll be watching is sitting at approximately 92,000 based on previous support becoming new resistance, and above 92,000 I'll be watching around 96 to 97,000. And as for support, obviously we still have major support at just above 78,000 and also significant support starting at close towards around 74,000. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously we still have this previous descending line of resistance which we recently broke out above, and right now it's potentially acting as a bit of short-term support support, and that's currently sitting at roughly around 83,000. So expect some support around there, and obviously a bullish breakout above this line of resistance is of course a bullish signal, but at least for now we're simply lacking momentum in the short term. Obviously we're not seeing any significant bullish momentum thanks to this larger bearish divergence, and of course the fact that we are running into this resistance. And at the same time as this happening, of course, we're still trying to play out the shorter term bullish divergence on the daily time frame, which is potentially one of the reasons as to why we've first of all seen this bullish relief over the last 1 week, but especially more recently just a bit of choppy sideways price action as the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence. And so honestly, not a lot has changed over the last 1 day on these Bitcoin charts right here. So obviously we're still looking somewhat neutral in the immediate short term, simply lacking momentum. But if you want to get set up ready to go to take the next trading opportunity in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally I'm taking a lot of my crypto trades over on 2bit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses, like for example up to $50,000. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can still claim a $30 sign up bonus and also up to a 20% deposit rebate with a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus, but only if you use that link to 2bit. And on top of all of that, if you use the link below this video, you're automatically upgraded to VIP level 1 trading fees, which basically means you get a massive discount on trading fees. You get lowered trading fees over on 2bit, but remember, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there's also BTNex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BTNex below this video as well. And in case you're wondering, if you use that link to BTNex, you can claim an exclusive 10% discount forever on all trading fees over on BTNex. That's a lifetime fee discount if you use the link below this video. And in case you're wondering, BTNex is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and just over the last couple of days, we're still building more and more liquidity here on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, just above the current price at approximately 86,500, basically in between around 86.5k to 86.8k, right around there. And in case you're new to all of this, usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where there's a lot of liquidity, as we saw just here close towards around 1 to 2 weeks ago. Obviously we actually dropped down because we had a lot of liquidity just below the price at that point back there, and then obviously we started to build more and more liquidity towards the upside, and then the price of Bitcoin rose up to take out that liquidity towards the upside. And right now, once again, we have that liquidity at basically in between 86,500 to 87,000, which means there is a high chance, a high likelihood that we could actually push up a little bit to actually wipe out that liquidity just in the short term. But remember, we still have a lot of resistance in between 86 to 88,000. So we may end up, for example, pushing a little bit higher to take out that liquidity, but then perhaps struggling before seeing a breakout above 88,000. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now the price of ETH is still just trading above this important area of support, sitting in between around 1.4k to 1550. So at least for now, continue to expect a lot of support in this area. And in the immediate short term, talking about the next few days, maybe the next week, that sort of time frame, expect simply a lack in momentum in the immediate short term here. So no significant bullish momentum, but at least a bit of a break from all of this bearish price action here just in the short term once again. But ultimately, when we're zooming out, we're clearly within a larger bear market, a long-term bear market for Ethereum, as I've already been saying for a long time now on the channel. So with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the weekly time frame, and right now Solana is attempting a breakout above this significant area on the price chart, sitting in between around 120 to 130. And as of recording this video, the price of Solana is currently trading just above 130. But technically speaking, we still need to actually confirm the breakout with ideally a weekly candle close, considering this is on the weekly time frame above $130. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close confirms in roughly roughly 4 days from now. So not a lot has really changed on this chart over the last 1 day. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, technically we're still playing out the bullish divergence, as I've been saying over the last 1 week approximately. Once again, telling you that we're most likely going to see just a slight bullish relief, or at the very least a bit of choppy sideways price action, as the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence. And so far for around a week now, this has been playing out perfectly. And so at least for now, this is what I continue to expect in the shorter term for the price of Solana. So once again, not a lot has changed over the last 1 day. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the 3-day time frame, we're still playing out the significant bearish divergence on the 3-day chart, as I've been saying for months now on the channel, since much higher prices. So nothing's changed on this chart over the last 1 day. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, we're still within the bearish trend, the descending parallel channel, forming lower highs and lower lows. But of course, during a bearish trend, during a descending parallel channel, we can see the occasional bounce in the short term, or a short-term bullish relief here and there. And of course, over the last 1 week, give or take, that's exactly what has happened. But just recently, we have run into the center line for the descending parallel channel, which is sitting at around 213 to 212 approximately. So right around there, expect short-term resistance, and so far the price has been struggling around there. And in the meantime, in the immediate short term, honestly, we're simply lacking momentum to either direction. We're still within a bearish trend, but we're still within a bit of a relief during the bearish trend, but also not seeing any significant bullish momentum. So what that leaves us is a lack in momentum in the immediate short term, which means expect some relatively boring price action, at least for now, just in the short term once again. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, right now, obviously Chainlink is still within a larger bearish trend, as I've been saying for months now on the channel. But as I've been saying just over the last week, we have recently confirmed this bullish divergence roughly a week ago, give or take, on the daily time frame, with lower lows confirmed in the price here and higher lows confirmed in the daily Chainlink RSI. And so this has been telling us to expect at least a short-term bullish relief, or maybe some choppy sideways price action. And considering at least for now it is still technically active, this is what I continue to expect, at least in the short term. But in the short term, the price is still struggling in the high $12 area, so around $12.70 to $12.90, give or take, especially around $12.80. That is a Fibonacci level of previous support, now acting as new resistance. But if we can actually see a breakout above that level and actually hold above that level, and ideally hold above $13 as support, then in that situation we could find a small amount of resistance at around $14.10 based on this high right here. But the next significant area of resistance would be sitting in between around $14.90 to $15.50, so especially around $15.50 acting as significant resistance. And so that's what I continue to expect here in the short term for the price of Chainlink, and a lot of the crypto market at the moment simply lacking momentum in the somewhat shorter term, while Chainlink and a lot of the other altcoins are currently within these larger bearish trends. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.